What if the London you think you know is only half the story? Beneath the bombed streets of the 1940s, another hidden world was quietly shaping the course of history. Welcome to Euro Retro. I'm your host, Michael James, and today we explore the lesser-known secrets of wartime London. If you enjoy meaningful history, please consider subscribing and sharing this video with others who might appreciate it. Some visuals in this documentary are symbolic recreations and may not exactly match every event described. Thank you for your understanding. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy a journey into the past. When we imagine London in the 1940s, most of us picture a city under fire. Sirens wail through the night. Searchlights sweep across the sky. German bombers roar overhead as explosions shake entire streets. During the Blitz, large parts of the city were reduced to rubble. Historic buildings collapsed. Homes disappeared in clouds of dust and smoke. For many Londoners, daily life meant surviving another night of bombing. But there was another London that few people saw. Beneath the streets, far below the shattered skyline, a hidden world was taking shape. Deep underground, engineers and military planners built networks of bunkers, protected tunnels, and secret wartime facilities. These spaces became command centers, emergency shelters, and strategic hubs where critical decisions were made. Some underground areas supported intelligence operations. Others housed factories that produced equipment essential for the Allied war effort. In many cases, the public had no idea these places even existed. For decades after the war, many of these underground sites remained classified. Only years later did historians begin to reveal how London survived by building an entire second city below its streets. Just beneath the busy streets near Piccadilly lies one of the most unusual wartime locations in London. Down Street Tube Station had originally opened in 1907 as part of the London Underground. However, passenger numbers were always low, and by 1932 the station was officially closed to the public. For several years it sat unused and largely forgotten. When the Second World War began, British officials quietly recognized that this abandoned station could serve a new purpose. Hidden about 22 meters below street level, the deep tunnels offered natural protection from air raids. The government converted the station into a secure underground headquarters for the Railway Executive Committee, the organization responsible for coordinating Britain's rail network during wartime. During the height of the German bombing campaign in 1940, Prime Minister Winston Churchill occasionally used Down Street as a refuge and meeting place. While the bombs fell across London, crucial transportation decisions were made in rooms carved deep beneath the city. The conditions underground were surprisingly comfortable compared with many public shelters used by ordinary Londoners. Staff members working there had access to proper dining facilities and well-equipped washrooms. Historical accounts even note that Churchill and senior officials sometimes enjoyed foods that were unavailable to most citizens due to wartime rationing, including luxury items such as champagne and aged brandy. The contrast was striking. While thousands of civilians endured crowded and damp shelters, the quiet tunnels of Down Street became a protected command space where leaders helped guide Britain through one of its darkest moments. While some underground spaces were reserved for government operations, other deep shelters were built for ordinary Londoners who faced the daily threat of bombing. One of the most remarkable examples lies beneath Clapham Common in South London. During the war, engineers constructed a vast, deep-level shelter system designed to protect thousands of civilians from aerial attacks. Hidden far below the park, the shelter consisted of a network of about 1,300 tunnels. These passages were arranged in parallel corridors connected by cross routes, creating space for as many as 8,000 people. The structure was built deep within London clay, which provided strong natural protection against explosions above ground. Life inside these shelters was basic but organized. Authorities installed communal kitchens where food could be prepared for large groups. There were medical rooms where doctors and nurses could treat injuries or illness. Chemical toilets were added to manage sanitation during long periods underground. For many families who had lost their homes during bombing raids, these tunnels became temporary places of safety. The shelters were also part of Britain's preparation for new German weapons, such as the V-1 flying bomb and the V-2 rocket. These weapons could strike London suddenly and with devastating force, making deep protection essential. Security around the construction of these shelters was extremely strict. To prevent information from spreading, the government often employed foreign labourers who were unfamiliar with the geography of London. This reduced the risk that the exact locations of these underground refuges would become widely known. During the Second World War, London's underground railway system became far more than a transportation network. Some tunnels were transformed into shelters, while others were quietly adapted for military production. One remarkable example existed in East London along a section of the central line between Leytonstone and Gants Hill. This stretch of tunnel, about 4 kilometers long, was never opened for passenger service during the war. Instead, it became a hidden electronics factory supporting the Allied war effort. After the Blitz damaged many industrial facilities on the surface, British planners searched for locations where production could continue safely. Deep underground tunnels offered natural protection from bombing raids. Inside these tunnels, the Plessey Company established a secure manufacturing space where about 2,000 workers labored around the clock. Many of these workers were women who had taken on critical roles while large numbers of men were serving in the armed forces. Their task was extremely important. In this underground facility, they assembled wireless radio receivers used in the cockpits of Allied bomber aircraft. These devices helped pilots communicate and navigate during dangerous missions over occupied Europe. The factory itself was surprisingly advanced for a hidden underground site. Air conditioning systems helped maintain stable conditions for delicate electronics, and a small internal railway carried materials and finished equipment through the long tunnels. Most Londoners never realized that such a factory existed beneath their feet. Yet, in these quiet tunnels, thousands of workers were helping support the Allied war effort in a place hidden from enemy intelligence. What do you think about this story from wartime London? Do you find it interesting or surprising? Do you feel this hidden part of history is useful to understand the past? Please share your thoughts in the comments because I would truly enjoy hearing your perspective. Personally, I find stories like this incredibly fascinating. If you enjoy exploring lesser-known history like this, you may also consider subscribing to the YouTube channel Euro Retro so we can continue discovering these remarkable historical moments together. In September 1939, as the threat of German air attacks grew, the British government introduced one of the strictest wartime measures ever applied to a major city. London entered what was known as the Blackout. Every night, the city was required to turn off or hide all visible light. The goal was simple but critical. German bombers often navigated by using the lights of cities as visual guides. If London remained dark, it would become far more difficult for pilots to locate their targets from the air. For ordinary residents, this rule changed daily life immediately. Families had to cover every window with heavy curtains or blackout cloth, so that not even a thin beam of light could escape into the street. Even a small glow from a lamp could attract the attention of wardens who patrolled neighborhoods to enforce the rules. Street lighting disappeared almost completely. Cars were allowed to drive at night, but their headlights were heavily restricted, often reduced to narrow slits that barely illuminated the road ahead. Walking through London after sunset became a slow and careful experience. People moved cautiously through unfamiliar darkness, sometimes guided only by memory of the streets they had known for years. Many Londoners later described the Blackout as one of the strangest parts of wartime life. The city that had once been bright and lively after dark suddenly became silent and shadowed. While the darkness helped protect London from enemy aircraft, it also created a city where danger could hide in plain sight. The wartime Blackout protected London from enemy aircraft, but it also created a darker and more dangerous environment on the ground. In the winter of 1942, the deep darkness of the city became the setting for a shocking series of crimes that terrified residents. The man responsible was Gordon Frederick Cummins, a leading aircraftman serving in the Royal Air Force. At first glance, he appeared to be an ordinary serviceman during wartime Britain. Yet in February 1942, he carried out a series of brutal attacks in London's West End. Over the course of just 5 days, Cummins murdered 4 women and attempted to kill 2 others. The violence of the crimes shocked investigators and the public alike. Police officers who examined the scenes described them as some of the most vicious murders they had ever encountered. Newspapers quickly began comparing the killings to those committed by the infamous Jack the Ripper decades earlier. Cummins took advantage of the city's blackout conditions. The streets were dim, many areas poorly lit, and people often moved alone in the darkness after curfew hours. For a short time, this allowed him to move through central London without drawing attention. His capture came through a simple but critical mistake. During one attack, he was interrupted and fled the scene in haste. In doing so, he left behind his Royal Air Force-issued gas mask and haversack. Both items carried his unique service number, which allowed investigators to trace them directly back to him. Cummins was arrested, tried, and later executed at Wandsworth Prison in June 1942. According to historical accounts, the execution took place while air raid sirens were sounding over London during another German bombing attack. In the middle of wartime London, one elegant building quietly became one of the most important centres of Allied intelligence. St. Ermin's Hotel, located in Westminster, not far from the Houses of Parliament, played a remarkable role during the Second World War. While guests moved through its halls and lobby, another world of secret operations was taking shape inside. The hotel became closely connected with British intelligence services, including MI6 and the Special Operations Executive, often known simply as SOE. The SOE had been created under the direction of Winston Churchill with a clear mission. Its agents were tasked with supporting resistance movements and disrupting Nazi control across occupied Europe. Within rooms and offices inside St. Ermin's, planners and intelligence officers organized some of the most daring covert operations of the war. The organization even worked under a discreet cover name to avoid attracting attention. Behind closed doors, teams developed tools and equipment designed specifically for espionage missions. Some of these devices might sound familiar today because they resemble gadgets from spy novels and films. There were pilot boots designed with hidden blades concealed in the heels. Silk maps were sewn into clothing so that captured agents could secretly navigate across occupied territory. Even ordinary-looking pens were engineered to function as small explosive devices when necessary. St. Ermin's was also linked to the preparation of field agents. Men and women were trained for dangerous assignments behind enemy lines. Among them were remarkable female operatives such as Violette Sabo and Christina Skarbek. These agents were parachuted into occupied France, where they worked with resistance networks and carried out sabotage missions against German forces. To many people walking past the building during the war, St. Ermin's appeared to be just another London hotel. Yet inside its walls, some of the most important intelligence efforts of the Allied war strategy were quietly unfolding. Even while the war was still unfolding, many leaders in Britain were already thinking about the future of London. The city had suffered enormous damage during the Blitz. Entire neighbourhoods had been destroyed, thousands of homes were lost, and large parts of the capital would eventually need to be rebuilt. Yet instead of waiting until the war ended, planners began imagining how London could rise again. One of the most important proposals was the County of London Plan, published in 1943 by urban planner Patrick Abercrombie. This plan looked beyond simple reconstruction. It aimed to reshape the city in ways that would improve daily life for future generations. The proposal encouraged the creation of healthier residential neighbourhoods, more open green spaces, and better organisation of housing across the capital. It also addressed a long-standing issue in London by proposing the gradual removal of overcrowded slum areas that had existed before the war. Some ideas at the time were even more ambitious. One proposal, known as the Mars Plan, imagined a completely different type of urban design. It suggested a linear city structure where transportation systems, particularly railways, would guide the layout of development rather than traditional road networks. In reality, many of these bold ideas were only partially implemented after the war because Britain faced serious economic challenges. Even so, These plans revealed something powerful about London during the 1940s. Despite the destruction, the city refused to see itself as defeated. While bombs were still falling, people were already planning how London would rebuild and move forward into a new era. And now I would love to hear from you. What do you think about this moment in London's history? Do you find these plans inspiring or surprising? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Personally, I find it remarkable that even in the darkest years of the war, people were already imagining a better future for their city. Looking back at London in the 1940s, we can see a city that lived through extraordinary hardship, but never lost its determination. Above the streets, there were bombed buildings, blackout nights, and constant danger. Yet beneath the surface, another London existed, filled with hidden shelters, secret operations, and people working quietly to protect the future of their city. Personally, I find this story deeply fascinating because it shows how resilience and planning helped London survive one of the most difficult periods in its history. For this video, some visuals were created with the help of artificial intelligence to help illustrate historical moments more clearly. They are meant to support the storytelling and make the past easier to imagine. I would truly love to hear your thoughts. Which part of this story surprised you the most? Please share your perspective in the comments so we can discuss it together. If you enjoyed this journey, please consider liking the video, sharing it with others who love history, and subscribing to Euro Retro for more historical stories like this. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm Michael James, and I look forward to exploring more history with you very soon.